Story 1. I invite people to my house at least once a month, so I have to clean all the entertaining spaces, the kitchen, and the bathroom. Story 2. Invest in a fluorescent orange ball cap for your children when they go to the playground or older siblings' sporting events. Of course, we always keep our eyes on our children, but spotting a bright orange cap from across a soccer field provides peace of mind. Story 3. In every room, I have a sacred spot for my phone. Nothing else goes in that spot. It is only for my phone. After years of losing my phone and spending hours searching for it, I have not lost it in about a year. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is a real wild brain operating system. Note: I work from home too, so I rarely leave the house. Story 4. Pierce a vitamin E capsule with a sewing needle and apply the liquid to open blisters. It helps heal them effectively. Story 5. There is never a better time than now to do that thing you said you would do or want to do. Whether it is going to the gym, going back to school, folding the laundry, changing jobs, moving, or checking out that new place that just opened up, just do it. Years can go by and you will find yourself saying, "If I had done it then, I would be done by now." It is now. Story 6. I live alone. I cook enough at one time to feed a large group. I eat from it all week. I also have a whole house and yard, pets, a full-time job, and workouts. It absolutely saves me all week long. Story 7. Full hands up. Full hands down. Basically, whenever you are going upstairs or downstairs, carry items that need to be transported, such as laundry, toilet paper, or trash. This reduces the amount of time needed to clean by a surprising amount in the end. Story 8. Mastering the art of offering to help or do a kindness knowing you won't be allowed to, but scoring points for being polite anyway. At a friend's place for dinner, offer to help with the dishes. Running to get coffee, lunch, or groceries. See if anyone would like anything. 99% of the time they will say no, but they'll still thank you for being so sweet. And that 1% when you actually get to help or pick something up for them, it's fun to help and you score extra points. The ultimate score is if you refuse to let them pay you back for whatever you grab and tell them you're happy to treat them. I think I took this question a bit more sarcastically than others. Story 9. Housework is more enjoyable when you are alert. You just have to get the caffeine dose right. Otherwise, you will just want to take a nap. Story 10. Apply Aquaphor on every inch of my body. It is a miracle cream. Nose dry? Aquaphor. Wound? Aquaphor. Infection? Aquaphor. Dry lips? Aquaphor. Rash? Aquaphor. Hotel? Trivago. Story 11. If I put my car keys with any object I want to take when I leave the house, I place the keys on top of or inside the object. Just do not forget where you put them. Story 12. You can remove the smell of anything, including decomposition, gastrointestinal bleeds, vomit, urine, and feces from the back of an ambulance by using an asthma nebulizer filled with either black coffee or the single-serving mouthwash that most emergency rooms carry. Increase the oxygen flow to 25 liters per minute. After about 10 minutes, it will be fresh as a daisy. Story 13. I put a random object where it does not belong so I remember to do a task later. A sneaker on my car dashboard reminds me to stop for milk after work. A wooden spoon sticking out of my purse helps me remember to get my lunch from the refrigerator. Story 14. Sock bag. I don't fold socks. I buy 2 brands and throw them into a grocery bag on a hanger. It is one of my proudest achievements. Story 15. If I find something that I did not even realize I lost, I can probably live without it and get rid of it. Story 16. I set a special alarm to leave for work in the morning. I play a song so that I know I need to walk out the door by the end of it. I have the lyrics memorized at the moment, so it helps me hurry up and leave on time. Story 17. I leave items in my car so I do not forget to take them with me. I use my car as a small handbag so my actual handbag is not heavy. Story 18. My boiler broke last winter, but I survived by putting on all of my clothes at once. I figured I can wait at least another 11 months until I get it fixed again. Story 19. Save money on groceries by forgetting to eat. I went for my weekly shopping, but it turns out I do not need anything because I still have supplies from last time. I have no idea what I consumed in the last week. Not enough, apparently. Story 20. I set alarms for everything so I do not forget to do whatever I need. I have alarms to wake up, medicate my dog, take my medications, pack lunch, shower and get dressed for work, leave for work, attend a nightly meeting in 5 minutes, start wrapping up my workday, stop at the post office on the way home, medicate the dog again, and any other tasks that come up. My wife thinks it is crazy how many alarms I have, but I do not forget to do things as much anymore. Story 21. Observe how you feel after interacting with family members and friends. If you do not feel good, you do not have to maintain a relationship with those people, even if you have known them for most of your life. Story 22. If I am carrying two things, one to share, mine is always the one on the left. This habit was formed after a few moments of wondering which one I drank from. Story 23. I have my job take out an extra $5 from state and federal taxes. This covers if I have to pay, and if I do not, I get it all back on my refund. I call this my tattoo fund. Story 24. Multiple lip balms, one for each coat pocket, and lip balm, tissues, and a comb for each bag I use. I cannot be trusted to move them responsibly, so now I own about 10 duplicate little Vaseline containers and combs. It works, although I still manage to misplace or move a few and end up with a coat without lip balm. Story 25. Whenever you are worried that someone is mad at you for no real reason, casually contact them. Ask them what is going on, offer to hang out, or just send them a meme. Any small casual interaction usually elicits a reaction that is enough to either alleviate the paranoia or give you a sign that something might be off without immediately jumping to conclusions or introducing heavy subject matters needlessly. I have borderline personality disorder, and this is how I managed to maintain healthy relationships. It took years, but consistently noticing these small confirmations made me feel much more secure, and I am not nearly as paranoid now. Story 26. If I search for something and cannot find it immediately, I make its location the first place I look from then on. Story 27. Body Armor energy drink for hangovers, coconut water base with less sugar than Gatorade, and more ingredients that are actually good for you and hydrating. You should be drinking less. Story 28. If you have children, create memories as a family, whether through travel, holidays, events, or experiences. Ill health prevents my wife from living a normal life, but we still talk about trips from 20 years ago. Story 29. If you always expect the worst from everything and everyone, you will never be surprised when bad things happen. Story 30. I discovered a bug that lets me use YouTube and Google Maps full screen on my phone without pausing the music. Story 31. Hamper for dirty clothes and a hamper for clean clothes in each child's room. After doing laundry, I dump the clothes in the clean hamper and grab them from there throughout the week. I do a quick 30-second steam if something is too wrinkly. I very rarely fold their clothes and put them in their dressers. Story 32. I multitask while my baby is having her dinner in the high chair. I face it towards me in the kitchen, then I quickly clean the dishes, benches, floor, put things away, and restock the vitamins. Story 33. I keep the gift cards I receive on special occasions in my car's glove compartment. They are not high value, just the useful ones that I might use when running errands. I generally drive to the coffee shops and stores for which I receive gift cards, so this guarantees I will have them with me when they are useful. No more collecting dust in a forgotten drawer in my house. Story 34. Messy hands theory. I dislike washing my hands after doing a dirty chore like the dishes, only to turn around and do another dirty chore that will require me to wash my hands again shortly after. Therefore, I developed the messy hands theory. When you do one dirty chore, do as many as you can think of, washing your hands only once at the end. This motivates me to do more chores with a sense of efficiency. Story 35. I put an alarm clock in another room. It makes me get out of bed, even when I snooze my phone alarms for 2 hours. Story 36. The brain has two modes: work and relax. Use good accent lights to create the vibe you want and a bright, almost overwhelming main light. If I need motivation to do something, I turn on my big light. If I need help relaxing after work, I watch TV with a lamp or Christmas lights. Story 37. I have 4 per diem self-scheduled jobs to avoid requesting time off for vacation or dealing with burnout. Story 38. Bread tabs work very well as twist ties for garbage bags. I always keep a few bread tabs in the drawer for when it is time to seal a bag. Story 39. My version of a to-do list is leaving items around where appropriate to remind me to do something. I can have a stack of bills next to a clay pot and a sharpening stone on my desk. This reminds me to pay my bills, plant the seeds that sprouted yesterday, and sharpen the knife that was getting dull. If I don't put them somewhere I see, I will forget or procrastinate. The final failsafe is my wife telling me my clutter is bothering her again. Story 40. At work, mention being broke a few times. Keep it casual. Nobody wants to hear you whining. If someone wants to grab takeout for lunch, say no thanks. Bills are pretty heavy, and you have to try to save. Groceries are expensive, so I have to watch for deals. This means that when people come around asking you to contribute to baby showers, kids' fundraisers, or want to borrow money, you can say, I wish I could, but money is really tight. This saves the awkwardness of saying no directly and prevents being pressured by those trying to get money. One of my coworkers has a side business that does pretty well, and I've noticed people ask her more often for money or support for fundraisers. Story 41. I make sure I have my keys in my hand through different steps of exiting my vehicle. I turn off the engine and make sure keys are in my hand. I gather my belongings in the passenger seat and make sure keys are in my hand. I exit the vehicle with my belongings and make sure keys are in my hand. I close the door and make sure keys are still in my hand. Finally, I lock the vehicle with keys still in my hand. I have locked my keys in my car too many times, so this is what I do to make sure I never do it again. I have done it at least 8 times already. Story 42. When you are afraid of something but have to do it and maintain control of your body, try doing math or have someone ask you simple questions while you attempt it. When you are afraid, memory is one of the first things to go and instinct dominates your movement. The questions force your brain to stay awake and help you process what is happening. Then you can think even when you are scared. Soon enough, you will not be scared at all. Story 43. Having a sticky note on my laptop that says, take 10 deep breaths before attending the call with X. X happens to be a megalomaniac technology lead and the biggest stress tester of my patience, identity, and sanity. Story 44. Throw away all your socks. Buy multiple packs of identical socks and never have to sort, fold, or pair socks again. Story 45. I have a cereal and medication cupboard. I will not take it if it is not visible as part of my morning routine, so it has to be next to my oatmeal. Story 46. It is not a life hack, but it makes me happy. When people who do not know me stare at me like they know me or want something, I wave at them and smile. It baffles them. Sometimes I even say good morning or good afternoon. They do not know what to do. I laugh a lot. Story 47. I always keep an umbrella and waste bags for my dog in the mailbox downstairs. I live a bit higher up, so if I forget something, I do not have to walk all the way back up. Story 48. When cleaning, never leave a room empty-handed. Always take something from the room you are leaving that belongs in the room you are heading to. Story 49. I go to the gym to avoid doing errands. If I am sitting still for more than 5 minutes, people assume my services and offer to help me or my car, so I try to stay as busy as possible to avoid it. Story 50. I hate dishes. I would rather clean my toilet than do dishes. I started dating a guy who would jokingly give me a hard time about my dishes when he came over because he knows how much I hate washing them. He did it enough that if I knew he was coming, I would force myself to do them to prove him wrong. My dishes now get washed all the way before he arrives at my place. I am going to experiment. My next step is to ask one of my friends to give me a hard time about dishes and see if it has the same effect. Story 51. I set timers to remember to do basic things if I know I will forget them. Cook food, take medicine, take laundry out of the washer. Literally anything I know I will forget to do until it is too late. Story 52. I will put my car keys next to something I cannot forget to bring with me. For example, if I am going to a birthday party, I will put my keys on the gift I am bringing. Or if I am at someone's house and they give me something I need to take home, I put my keys on it. Story 53. My 1-year-old daughter sometimes eats in the shower cubicle because I cannot manage the distance at which she can throw her chocolate pudding. If she is in there, she can finish her food, get washed off, and put on clean pajamas, and the mess is contained. This does not happen every day, but on some days I am already on my last nerve when I wake up, and I do not want to lose my temper because she will not understand. Story 54. My favorite lip balm is lanolin nipple cream. Comes in a large tube and moisturizes very well. Contains no petroleum. Story 55. Whenever a family member tries to force me to go to a family dinner, I just tell them, and you are going to cover the extra dosage of my depression medication and all the medical bills when I have a panic attack. Right? It works so well. No more tricking me into the family dinner. Story 56. Instead of having your children wear pajamas to bed, have them wear the clothes they will wear to school the next day. This way, they do not waste time searching for clothes in the morning. Story 57. I buy 3 important things because I lose everything that is not tied down to one spot. Glasses, 3 pairs, car keys, 3 sets, and my wallet, which I keep linked to my purse. Seriously. Story 58. Add 7 to this day number, and you will know the day number for next week. So today is the 12th of September. Next week, it will be the 19th of September. Every day that is divisible by 7 is the same day of the week. For example, if January 7th is a Thursday, the 14th, 21st, and 28th of January will also be Thursdays. Story 59. I love the idea of leftovers to avoid cooking as often but hate eating the same thing multiple days in a row. I started freezing leftovers but was never organized enough to defrost them the night before. Plus, how do I know tonight what I will want to eat tomorrow? I spent £30 on a vacuum sealer and some sous vide bags. Leftover curry, chili, or whatever goes in the bags and into the freezer. The bags are safe for boiling water, so when I am hungry, the entire unopened bag goes in a pot of boiling water on the stove. This way, I get all the benefits of leftovers without the tedium of eating the same thing multiple days or meals in a row and without needing to pre-plan. Story 60. Regular White Claws 5% and White Claw Surges 8% are usually the same price for a 12-pack at the store. I get the surges and dilute them with water at home. Story 61. My key to success is waking up at 4:30 and taking a 300 milligram pre-workout supplement to get me going. I do this on half the days I do not go to the gym as well. It has honestly been a game changer for me. Story 62. If I ever need inspiration or motivation, I watch Bloodborne content. I do not know how, but more things get done that way. Story 63. I put all my important tasks on my phone with alarms. Since I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, I get distracted very easily, but the alarm on my phone is very effective. Tasks could include anything such as watering the plants daily at 6:30 p.m., writing in my diary on Monday at 8:45 p.m., and doing laundry on Sunday at 1 p.m. As long as everything is on a clear and concise schedule, everything gets done. Story 64. If I drive a manual transmission vehicle, it provides just enough action to keep me focused on driving, and I pay attention to the road. Story 65. The Keurig reusable pod sleeve insert fits into the funnel of the AeroPress. The AeroPress funnel fits into the espresso filter basket. The Baratza Encore grind collection bin fits into the wide part of the funnel. The espresso basket goes on top. The whole assembly is flipped 180 degrees and tapped on the counter. The Baratza Encore collection bin sits beneath a Bunn coffee grinder because grinding with anything else is an exercise in self-hatred. Story 66. I time how long it takes me to do tasks, so when I feel overwhelmed by simple things like loading the dishwasher, which takes 7 minutes, and taking a shower, which takes 20 minutes, I can remind myself they do not take too long and it is all okay. Story 67. If you have a cleaning issue, the answer is probably white vinegar. White clothes are not as bright anymore or have stains. Try white vinegar. Hard water stains? White vinegar. You can even clean your hair with it. Dog urinates on your towel? Wash with white vinegar. Story 68. I only start washing dishes 5 minutes before the timer for the food that is currently in the oven goes off. Otherwise, I will forget that the sink is filling with water, and it will overflow. The food from the oven will need some minutes to cool down enough to be eaten, and that time is used to wash the dishes. Story 69. I do not check the time after midnight. That way, I do not know how much sleep I am not getting, so I do not need to worry about it. Story 70. I drink about 5 to 6 double espressos per day and still manage to hit my head on a pillow at midnight and sleep instantly due to being so tired. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.